As they approached the village to which they were going, he gave the impression that he was going on farther. But they urged him, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening and the day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. I'm Father Walter Wagner. I'm here with Brother Hyacinth Grubb, and we're at the Shrine of St. Vincent Ferrer in the Church of St. Vincent Ferrer in the Parish of St. Vincent Ferrer and St. Catherine of Siena. And in these weeks of Easter, we are exploring the Easter peace we share with the risen Lord. And this week, this third week of Easter, we're talking about that aspect of the peace by which Jesus accompanies us through this earthly pilgrimage. And at intervals on that pilgrimage, sits down with us at the Eucharist. And that's a great place to meet our two disciples, again, who have been walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus, very perturbed at the events of the Passion that have taken place there. And they have met Jesus, though they don't recognize him. And he has walked with them. He has listened to their trauma. He has responded by opening the scriptures to them. And now we see an effect on them, which is that they invite him to stay. They want to keep him with them. So we already see in that moment their reorientation. That the Spirit, even though the Holy Spirit has not shown them this is Jesus, nevertheless, they are being worked on. And this is the beauty of the Scriptures. That when we truly encounter in the Spirit's light the works of God that we spoke of yesterday, the creation, the redemption, and all of the other things in between, the sending of the Holy Spirit, we also realize in that light that we are a work of God, that we too are created, we too personally are accompanied. And if the Scriptures tell the story of the history of salvation, we too have a history of salvation that is personal to us and yet intimately connected with the whole stream. And so, in that moment, the encounter with the works of God causes a change in us, which is that it invites gratitude and availability. The works of God invite gratitude and availability. And in giving those two attitudes, they lay the foundation of Christian worship. Now, gratitude and availability are an intimacy with God, and that is not new. Intimacy with God is a beautiful feature of the ancient covenant and the law of Moses. Indeed, all of the elaboration of the law is really a structure by which humanity and divinity live at close quarters. And the whole history of Israel, opened up by Jesus, tells the story of how God wanted to interact with his people, that they would not simply be passive recipients nor fearful slaves, but that they would be attached to him in a conversation. In his resurrected life, Jesus makes that conversation and that interchange even more intimate, because he is creating the setting for worship, which is two disciples and himself, seated not in a sacrificial temple, nor even in a synagogue, but in some inn or house. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in their midst. So what Jesus is doing is causing, by the gift of his Spirit, that God would be not feared, not contracted with, but desired. The disciples asked him to stay with them. And we too, conceiving the desire of God in our own hearts, will, living the resurrected life, come to long for him. And in this, we already have in the Easter peace a foreshadowing of the heavenly peace. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.